many landlords don't bother with inventories because there's an admin cost and some effort involved in putting a good inventory together. And often the problem they have is with the deposit schemes. Of course, if they want to deduct anything from the deposit for any damage to the property, they have to prove that there was damage, and the way to do that, of course, is to compare the checkout inventory with the check-in inventory, and so that you can support the deduction that you've made and prove that you've made that. And I think these days as well that the traditional sort of paper inventory is often not sufficient. In fact, you've now got photographs and video evidence, and that investment in the inventory side pre-check-in will protect your precious asset from any claim by a tenant in the future.
Some people say that the inventory is actually more important than the tenancy agreement as an actual document. Do you think that's a valid comment?
Yeah, there's some truth in that, really. A flippant sort of comparison might be, if you had a Ferrari, you wouldn't hand the keys over to anybody, go and hire a nice car. The company that deals with that, they will have been through that car all the way around, check the bodywork and the paintwork for any damage, and you'll sign to say you've checked it, and that's a £10,000 car. Or more expensive cars, even more checks. Whereas a lot of landlords will hand over the keys to their much more expensive asset without having a proper check over the condition of the asset and getting that agreed with the person that's renting it. So it's very important.
Have you personally had any experiences where an inventory actually resolved the dispute to your satisfaction?
I've certainly had one or two disputes with tenants where my DIY inventory, shall we say, wasn't up to scratch, and we've had to improve, as we self-manage our portfolio, we've had to improve our processes and documentation, and we now do photographs because when we had the dispute, the deposit scheme gave us some feedback that what we were providing them with wasn't up to scratch, and they weren't prepared to agree the deduction. So, and in fairness, that's what a professional landlord and investor should be doing. Tenants are entitled to receive their deposit back unless you can prove that it was a genuine dilapidation that they should pay for. I say that with gritted teeth, but you've got to do it.
And can you see value in taking inventories onto a digital level where you've got date and time-stamped photographs and the whole thing is defragmented into one really robust and detailed document?
Yeah, absolutely. I think things are moving on now. People have got iPhones and they want to do everything online. They want to be able to email documents around and check things, and things like digital date stamps, are so handy, because if it's just your word against the tenant's or a signature, easily disputable. And if you've got a robust way of